I'm honestly gonna upload just like a separate video, like part 2, I think, because my camera was very blurry and I just didn't like the way it was presenting me. But yeah, I cut off that friend just because, although she was a sweet girl and she was very nice, I still like certain traits she was allowing me to portray because of her actions. And I feel like a common thing between people my age, because again, I'm 15, is a very clingy, controlling, or undermining, or judgy. You're either of these things or they're off. And everybody's very clingy. Like, people can say I'm like bitchy, I'm distant. Maybe that's true, but I feel like you're not best friends with somebody that you met 4 months ago. You know? Unless you're like in a relationship and you've had intimacy, you've had deep communication, hours of talking. Some friendships are like that, but you can't rush a meaningful relationship. Like, if you have 2, maybe 3 classes, even if you have all your classes together, and you send TikToks to each other outside of class, like on the weekends, whatever, you aren't friends. You are associates. I feel like that's something that people have to differentiate, because when you don't have that time bond and people won't put that clinginess, it's almost suffocating, you know? And that's what breaks up a lot of friendships. People don't have to put that distance between them. And my friends I just have one class with, I don't really have any ambition to see them, because we're not really friends. It's like, people don't know how to put a difference between being friends, being associates, and having fun. Like having fun with somebody is having a class period with them every day. Talk to them between that year, but you don't speak over the summer. And if you see them again next year in the same class, you're happy, but nothing really changes. That's something you can have fun with, you know. Being associates is like you have more than one class with them, or you compliment them in the hallway, or you're so pretty, hi. You may even like walk to your house together, dismiss school together. Maybe be somebody who's like you spend like almost all your time with, but you don't really have like a deep, meaningful level. That's a friendship. Having a friendship, you don't have to have all your classes together. Like I have like one friend, maybe like 2. One, I don't have any classes with them. I honestly don't know how I met them. No, I know how I met them, but there's an ambition to see each other. There is an ambition, there is a communication, there's an understanding. If we can't meet up, I'm gonna text them, hey Buki, I can't see you. I'll meet you at this period, that period. We're never upset if we can't see each other, because that plays into an addiction to people's energy. And those people also can differentiate. If you're addicted to that person's energy, that's a problem. If you literally can't live down, like you feel like you're gonna die, I suggest you look into yourself. Like, don't cut that person off, because that's not their fault. It's something that you have to peer into, and if you have to cut that person off just to look deeper into yourself, then you have to do that. But there's a difference between missing someone and being addicted to them. Like, me and that friend, we can go without talking to them without crashing out or like wanting to like strangle each other, because it's like, why haven't you texted me? It's just like, I know they're busy, I know I'm busy, I know that we're both trying to be successful in our lives, and there's a mutual understanding about that. That's one thing I couldn't really get with that friend. She was somewhat controlling in that, like, there was this one time I went on a field trip. It was a beautiful experience between me and my friends, and she was like, oh, well, you didn't even tell nobody, you didn't even, Like, it truly made me realize I have to be away from this person permanently. Not even like, sometimes maybe here, there, say, I can see you somewhere and be happy. Like, I have to completely stop, because I allowed her to think that she has that kind of authority over me, where I have to check with her, I have to check in with her, what I'm doing, how I'm going about my day or whatever. And she made it nice, and I honestly may have taken it the wrong way, but it just wasn't good for me. And I feel like when you allow somebody to have that kind of control, it's also on your part to cut them off and set them straight. When I did cut them off, I made it clear. I was like, you're honestly a good girl. I hope someone gives that love to you, but I don't think it's good for us to stay friends. And she wanted to say something petty, and I was honestly grateful that she did, because it truly allowed me to test myself on if I'm actually mature, if I'm actually developing. And I'm proud of myself that I did it. And I'm honestly proud of her for when we would interact in person, she doesn't really do anything shady towards me. She doesn't like give me dirty looks up and down. She kind of keeps it moving, keeps it pushing. And honestly, I feel bad because I lost a few extra friends when I cut her off. I also like inadvertently cut off these two other girls. They're very nice, but I feel like that just kind of shows you how people are and like where the loyalties lie. And because it kind of showed me they're complacent in like the sense of, because like this girl, she had a very strong personality. That's what I loved about her, because we both had strong personalities and we could combine and be very powerful together, but we would also clash. And what I learned from those two is that they're complacent per se, and like they follow her lead. So what I imagine is that she came to them first and like, oh, he's tripping, Williams, look at this, look at that. Oh, he said it because of this, because of that. And they agreed upon that. And I can tell that they don't have really any animosity towards me, which means why would I have any towards them? Like, they still wave at me in the halls. They're still very sweet people to me. So of course, I'm never gonna talk bad about them behind their back. They're not bad people. They don't have any bile in them. But it's just like me and this friend, we have a very good understanding. Like, I go up to their house, we talk a lot, you know. Like, honestly, I don't have a lot of friends, and there's a beauty in that. Like, there's this one girl, we're not friends, but I talked to her in my first period, and she really sewed it together perfectly. She was like, I know I can be really fun to be around, and not in a cocky kind of way. I know I'm really enjoyable, and people have fun with me, and they can think that we're friends, but we're not. And that's not something I'm gonna villainize myself for. It's just simply we're not at that level, and that's not something to be ashamed of or villainize yourself for. I'm not gonna villainize myself for that. I'm not gonna shortcome my growth to make someone comfortable. We're not friends. A lot of my people that I hang around with, we're not friends. Like, there's two girls that I know in my second period. I would say we're friends, but we're not like good friends. Like good friends, I would say we're good friends, but not like good friends. Like we're not close good friends. Like there's one person that's my best friend. They know everything about me, my family. I go over to their house. That's top priority. Second person, they know things about my house, but there's just not that same level of intimacy, and that's okay. I'm not gonna force that intimacy. There's no need for it. Some people, nobody has, like, you shouldn't have to have a bunch of best friends. You should okay being mutual best friends with somebody. And these two other girls, we're good friends, but we only really talk in that class. And when the opportunity shows itself, yes, we hang out, but only when the opportunity shows itself. There's not a lot of ambition to see each other, and I hope that over the summer it's gonna prove that growth of, hey, we're willing to see each other. But I feel like people have to be able to live in simplicity, you know? Like, have a few friends. But back to the whole categories things. I feel like when people are clingy to the friends they met literally just a year ago, like not even a year ago, like in August, it's May now. It's not actually a lot of time. You know, like I'm still gonna cry when my senior friend walks out. I'm obviously gonna like be upset because I'm not gonna be seeing them as much. It's gonna be sad without their energy. I'm gonna miss them. And like that's normal. But to have to be clingy and controlling, that's just something I didn't like, and I just didn't like that. And it's healthy to not like that. And I did outgrow her. I feel like people can be ashamed to say those kinds of things because it can be like, oh, I'm saying that I left them behind, and that's okay. But like I'm never gonna minimize the amount of work that I put into myself to make you feel better. I honestly want to amplify the work I do in myself and how great I make myself become so that I can inspire other people to do the same. Because honestly, that's what makes me want to push myself and do things like watching this one YouTuber, I forgot, I don't really know how to pronounce her name, it's like JD Bunny. She's honestly very cool and she makes videos and she yaps. And she's like, she makes me like look into myself more because like we have the same like we almost have the same base on ideologies, but she's very shameless and I enjoy that. I enjoy her shamelessness and I like that because I've always been taught to give first and take in second, you know, exhale before you breathe in. And now I'm getting older, I'm kind of learning how to breathe for myself per se. I realize like I don't produce any chlorophyll. I'm not a plant. I don't produce oxygen for people. I'm human. And it's okay to live for yourself and others at the same time. There is a balance between that. If you cannot love yourself and others, there is something. You do have to look into yourself about that. And I feel like so many people are plagued with shame and fear about themselves and the way they're perceived and the way they think. Like, I honestly don't care. I know I'm gonna look back at this in a few years, even if I don't pursue this anymore, I'm not gonna care. I honestly might cringe on it. It might be like, oh, yucky, whatever. It might become like some weird laughing stock, which is honestly so sickening. And like the whole time I'm talking, I'm like, should I even upload this? I'm just like, I'm a basic bitch. And like, I know people are gonna see this at my school and they're gonna be like, look at him, he thinks he's all shit. And it just lets me know I'm doing something to push myself. Like, I can't sing. I'm bad at acting, but I'm good at lying. So I'm doing chorus in theater next year just because like I have a lot of friends in chorus in theater this year and they're like, oh, you'd be good for it. I've been recommended to do it, so I think I'll do it. Just to see push myself. And I want to find the line between forcing myself to do things because I don't like it and I assume it's going to give growth, or pushing myself into things I'm reluctant to do to produce new flowers that will then give fruit, you know? But honestly, I feel like people are really scared, and like when they do things like this, they can be shy to be vulnerable, and they can be late because they're so engrossed with the idea of being beyond it or arrogant towards it that it seems like they don't care. Like, I know it's gonna sound weird for me to say, but like in Wicked, when Elphaba was doing her dance, and people assumed she didn't care, but she was just pretending like she doesn't. I don't want to pretend, even though Elphaba is a great person, she's very down to earth. I am not her. I don't want to be pretending that I don't care. I truly don't want to care. So it's something that I'm gonna push myself with and posting consistently and just watching. As probably nobody watches my videos, but it's not like I'm doing this so that people can watch my videos. It's more so that I can look back on this and see my vulnerability and see how far I'm willing to push myself. You know? I want to see, like, you can't be successful without being vulnerable to yourself and to others. And I'm going to look back on this and, like, what the hell are you doing? But I don't care. And I honestly feel like if I get bullied, I am gonna cry. But that's a part of life, and I'm gonna move on from that. But I feel like I have to do it. Like, I can, like, for like certain things, I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like there's some people that you have to talk to, there's some people you have to like speak to, interact with, or just stuff you have to do, steps you have to make, changes you have to do, people you have to cut off. And people are reluctant to do so because they're so comfortable in themselves, in that current skin. And I feel like people can rot and stagnate in like stagnation or whatever. People's stagnant state, they can learn to decay and mold grows instead of leaves. And they can never produce anything for themselves. And no shade to those people, I can understand the fear. I just don't want to be those people. And like, I am willing to cut off everybody for my success per se. And I know people are gonna call me egotistical, arrogant, but I know, like, I was talking to my friend about this and they were like, I know I'm not gonna know anybody, but I know I'm gonna be famous. I said, you know what? Me too. Because honestly, I feel like I can be scared to be perceived as mean or vile. But I feel like I'm learning to not care. There's something beautiful in that. And like, that's all there is to it. When you learn not just to not care and brush things off, that's not healthy for you. But when you learn to be shameless in your actions and truly accept yourself, it's something different. It allows you to do better in yourself and for yourself. Success is 90%, 98% mental improvement and 2% action. I'm not making big moves until I'm making these psychological changes. I cannot be afraid to profess my poems to people. I cannot be afraid to show my designs to people. I cannot be afraid to walk up to this one person that I know sews, like, hey, I can model for you. If I cannot post a video, so these are my steps for that. I'm not gonna allow myself to be stagnant. I wanna be a mangrove tree and I wanna grow. And I know a lot of people are gonna be like, oh, he's copying and so. And yeah, I take inspiration from a lot of people, but I like to put my own twist. And honestly, I don't know. I don't really know what my dedication is going to be pointed towards, and if I should limit myself to one thing. I don't know if me limiting myself to one thing is going to allow me to strive and succeed in one thing, or it's going to limit myself, and I will never be fully fulfilled. That's truly what I'm allowing myself to explore. Also, doing these videos, I feel like it's really good for me to put myself out there in public. Probably gonna change my username, you know. It is something vulgar right now. But I feel like me doing this is really expanding per se. And yeah. But I honestly don't know what I'm going to change it to. I think it's going to have something to do with gray herons or moon jellyfish. But I honestly want to start embracing myself fully. I know people are like, oh, you're so young, you have so much time. Why would I waste it? If I have so much of this, why would I let it sit? You have so many seeds, so why not plow? Why wait for rainfall to hydrate my soil when I could have the plants, when I could have the seeds in the ground and they'll drink what's there? If I have been given this, why wait until someone tells me I'm ready? Until I calculate everybody's answers and come to a conciseness, until I come to an average where I deem it right. I don't know, I think I'm just a being of action. And in this patience, I've learned to be innovative about my action and what action looks like for me. So I think I do have the tools to plant. I think this is me starting to plow. And embracing myself is the first step. I think I'm really getting there.